The year 2019 represents the last sliver of normalcy to us. Since then, well, things have gotten weird. However, for the 2019 QB draft class, every signal caller chosen has some degree of mystery to them, even the first one taken off the board. What's even more confusing is, maybe the best QB taken doesn't even have a starting job. And beyond what's happened on the field, this is one weird bunch. Let's dive into one of the most perplexing QB draft classes in NFL history, and that's coming up right after this. Let me tell you, nothing gets a man more revved up than cold, hard, food-slicing steel. Introducing Kamikoto, incredible Japanese steel kitchen knives that use over 800 years of technology to handcraft perfect culinary cutting tools. The quality of these knives is beyond their good looks. Each knife goes through a rigorous 19-step process that takes several years from start to finish. Kamikoto is so confident about their knives that each one comes with a lifetime guarantee. And look at the Ashwood box they come in. Don't act like if your significant other gave you this, you wouldn't get instantly aroused. Or hell, treat yourselves to these knives. It's your world. These knives are amazing. They cut through any ingredient with ease and make the whole cooking process delightful. Legit, I can't wait to use these knives to slice through more things. The look, the feel, the weight, you know you are holding a knife that will last a lifetime. Maybe longer than your current relationship. So after this video, treat yourself or heavily suggest to your partner that you want Kamikoto knives. They are having a massive sale and you can get $50 off any purchase by using my code 5points. Spell it out, FIVEPOINTS. So click on the link below or go to kamikoto.com/5points and use my promo code 5points to save $50 and maybe your relationship. The good. The story of the 2019 QB draft class actually begins in 2018.
There were 9 mistakes made ahead of me.
After 9 mistakes in 2018, the Arizona Cardinals spent the 10th overall pick on UCLA quarterback Josh Rosen. As we all know by this point, it was the Cardinals who made an egregious mistake. But there were 2 ways this mistake actually turned into a triumph. First, the Cardinals' fuck-up was such a mistake that it actually gave them the next year's first overall pick thanks to a broken system that rewards teams for sucking ass through a straw. Second, the Cardinals jettisoned their failed investment quickly. They said goodbye to head coach Steve Wilkes after 1 season and brought in air raid architect Cliff Kingsbury. A controversial figure for sure, but one with at least a clear vision. The Cards spent the first overall pick on Kyler Murray, a diminutive QB from the University of Oklahoma who is more explosive than post-Taco Bell diarrhea. In 2021, their bold decision finally returned dividends. Murray and Kingsbury led Arizona to the playoffs for the first time in half a decade. Despite a bitter ending to the season, the Cardinals proved they made the right call. However, even the most surefire pick of this draft is not left without both some confusing history or actions. We all know the story of how Murray might not have been in the NFL had he not turned down the Oakland A's who drafted him while he was in college. But after the Cardinals were bounced from the playoffs, Murray had some odd behavior, unfollowing the team on socials and stripping down his Instagram, seemingly unhappy with his current situation. Nobody knows if he's going to request a trade or wants a new contract. Just like the rest of the decisions in the 2019 draft, people are scratching their heads. The borderline. This will blow your mind. The fastest NFL quarterback on record is not Kyler Murray. It's not Lamar Jackson or Michael Vick. It's Daniel Jones? In a 2020 game against the Eagles, Daniel Jones hit 21.23 miles per hour on an 80-yard run. And then he tripped. That play has served as a metaphor for Jones' career. Quick out of the gate, but, well, yeah. If you think Jones recording the fastest speed of any quarterback is a stretch, the fans certainly thought that taking him at number 6 overall was. Or was it? Coming out of Duke, Jones never really wowed in the ACC. I mean, it is Duke. But he played solid, efficient ball, and like almost every pale-skinned quarterback with wheels, Jones was deceptively fast with the ball in his hands. A real student of the game. First guy in, last guy out. He has a high motor. I'd let him date my More intriguingly, Jones looked and acted like a carbon copy of Eli Manning. Maybe that explains why the Giants were so eager to take Jones so early. Even though they were saying goodbye to Eli, they were ushering in his younger, equally unflappable clone. Or Dave Gettleman is a fucking moron. Early on in his career, Jones' play made the Giants look pretty smart. But after the Giants traded in Pat Shurmur for Joe Judge, Jones' trajectory started to sink. His TD percentage was cut in half in year 2, his rating dropped, and he took more sacks. The only thing that got better were his fumbles, and he still fumbles a lot. So let's ask the hard question. Did the Giants really screw up taking Jones at 6? Certainly not. Jones was the best remaining quarterback in the 2019 class, and he's proved that. Only time will tell if Brian Daboll and company can fix Jones or if the G-men will be moving on from him next year. He's still a mystery. The bad. Drew Lock and Daniel Jones might be two of the most opposite quarterbacks in the league. Drew Lock raps on the sideline, while Daniel Jones looks like he wrote a letter to the NFL praising the taunting rule. More importantly, Daniel Jones' play started to decline when the Giants fired Pat Shurmur. Shurmur didn't help Lock. Coming out of Missouri in 2019, Drew Lock won 4 of his first 5 starts, putting up decent numbers and occasionally showing flashes of a brilliant playmaker with a bionic arm. Then the Broncos fired offensive coordinator Rich Scangarello and replaced him with Pat Shurmur. Part of the reasoning Denver hired Shurmur was his success with Daniel Jones. Makes sense, right? Wrong. Daniel Jones is a quarterback who demands a rigid structure and a downfield passing attack on offense, and adds in a sprinkle of speed. Drew Lock at his best makes plays when the field is cut in half for him. He was better suited for the West Coast offense that Denver ran in his rookie season. In comes Shurmur, and Lock's performance declined steeply in 2020. He also unsuccessfully attempted to cheat COVID protocols and put the team in a position where they had to start an undrafted rookie wide receiver at quarterback, but that's a video for another day. Lock is also frequently injured and has failed to capitalize on the success of his rookie campaign. He's now an afterthought in Denver, a last resort. Break glass in case of emergency, like Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay, Russell Wilson staying in Seattle, or the entire 2022 quarterback class sucking. All or some of those things are likely to happen. Now, for the ugly. Ron Rivera battled an insidious force that threatened to destroy him in Washington. No, it wasn't Daniel Snyder or cancer. It was Ohio State QB Dwayne Haskins. In a short time in Washington, Haskins proved very quickly that he was not worth the 15th overall pick. It's also very possible that he was a better pick than Daniel Jones and Drew Lock.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
Yeah, there's time to explain. Week 4, 2019. In his very first appearance in the NFL, Haskins throws 3 interceptions, including a pick 6. Certainly not ready. Weeks 11 and 12, 2019, Haskins records his first 2 wins without throwing a single touchdown. Very impressive. Weeks 14 and 15. Haskins finishes the season throwing 4 touchdowns and no picks in 2 losses. He's also carted off with an ankle injury, missing his last game. Still, the future looks semi-bright. Training camp 2020, Haskins loses 7% in total body fat and earns the title of team captain. Week 5, 2020, Ron Rivera benches Haskins for poor performance and an even poorer work ethic. Week 13, 2020, Rivera gives Haskins another chance, mostly because they literally have no one else. Week 14, 2020, Haskins celebrates a 5-point loss to Seattle by partying maskless in a strip club, all while knowing his head coach has cancer and is severely immunocompromised. Week 15, 2020, Haskins throws 2 picks and loses again, this time to Carolina, and is instantly released. Haskins lasted less than 2 seasons in Washington, which means he may have been a better pick than Jones and Lock. But before you turn off the video, here's my rationale. Hot take coming in. Haskins was so offensively bad on and off the field that he gave Washington no choice but to release him after just 13 starts. He indicated very quickly that he was bad. No mystery there. Daniel Jones and Drew Lock were mostly successful as rookies, which tricked their teams into believing in them. Call that Mitch Trubisky syndrome. That may be a worse, more complicated fate than quickly recognizing and releasing a clear and obvious bust.
Hot take alert.
Before we get to what might be the best QB in the 2019 draft, let's cover the scraps. There were 11 total quarterbacks taken in the 2019 NFL Draft. Here is the week, not the chaff.
Call the wheat from the chaff!
Carolina took West Virginia quarterback Will Grier with the 100th overall pick. At the time, Grier was overshadowed by his younger siblings Nash, Hayes, and Skyland, who were all Vine stars. Or TikTok, I don't know. After 52 career passes, that is still the case. The Bengals chose NC State QB Ryan Finley at the top of the 4th round. He's best known for being the most photogenic quarterback in the league. New England took Auburn QB Jared Stidham in the 4th round. After Tom Brady left, there were about 3 months where people legitimately believed the Patriots would start Jared Stidham in 2020. Shoot, as an Auburn fan, I could have told you not to do that. Then they decided that the washed up corpse of Cam Newton was a better option, and they were right. The Chargers drafted North Dakota State's Easton Stick in the 5th round. Stick won an FCS championship 4 times in college, but he's mostly known for his name sounding like a very good baseball bat. Philly used the 167th pick on Northwestern's Clayton Thorson. Thorson is an American football quarterback who is currently a free agent. The Ravens drafted Penn State's Trace McSorley in the 6th round. He is best known as the guy who came in for Lamar Jackson when Jackson had a code brown. I think he's a TikTok star or some shit. He has his own song. I'm so old, I don't even know.
I'm your favorite quarterback. They call me Trace McSorley.
So after the good, the bad, the ugly, and the scraps, that leaves us with the QB who might have been the best one taken in the perplexing 2019 NFL Draft.
Hey, Uncle Rico.
Yo.
Taught me well.
Hey, Gardner Minshew. Thanks for giving all the believers a chance to believe and a reason.
That someone is Gardner Minshew II. There is no Gardner Minshew I, which tells you everything you need to know about Gardner Minshew. Minshew might actually be a good quarterback, but he was doomed to the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 6th round and immediately outplayed his draft status, all while becoming a folk hero in Jacksonville. And for all of red-blooded America. Unfortunately, Minshew became the patsy for the 2020 Jags, a team with no objective other than tanking like the ground campaign of the Iraq War. Minshew was good enough in 8 games that he threatened their draft position, so the Jags wisely benched him. But shockingly, Gardner Minshew has a 41-12 touchdown to interception ratio. That's better than Drew Lock, Daniel Jones, and Kyler Murray. As of today, he's not a starter. That's just part of what makes the 2019 QB class the strangest of all time.
No, I'm always dead serious all the time. I would never, ever joke, especially in a game.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to my next video.